Hey everyone, and welcome to Geekdom Forecast. And wishing all you guys a happy new year. And this is going to be one of our first videos for 2021. And we're going to be doing something a little different for you guys. We'll be talking about the movie Soul. Soul is an animated effort by Pixar, and this has been directed by Pete Docter, and he's known for classic animated movies such as Inside Out, Up, as well as our childhood favorite Monsters Inc. He's already got 8 Oscar nominations, and out of those, he's already won 2. So, yeah, he's a pretty good guy. I mean, he's the real deal.
It's just me right now, but please picture this whole stage full of the most amazing cast and crew you've ever
Back
experienced.
to the movie. The film stars Jamie Foxx as Joe Gardner, Tina Fey as 22, 22, Graham Norton as Moonwind, and Rachel House as Terry. This is not the first time we see Jamie Foxx in a movie where he's portraying some artist. In fact, he did play Ray Charles in the movie Ray, which was released, I think, in the year 2004. In Soul, we see the character of Joe Gardner, played by Jimmy Fox, a music teacher who's looking for his one big break in the world of jazz. He finally gets this gig until he falls into a manhole and he dies. His soul then ends up in the great beyond and he ends up meeting another character called 22, and he's hell bent on finding his body so he can finally play with his idol Dorothea Williams. Now, before we start off with the review for this movie, let's talk about a few things regarding the movie, of course. And let's get a concept a little clear. There's something called the Great Before in the movie and something called the Great Beyond. The Great Before is basically the souls. They had this little their own session, their own like training session before they finally enter Earth. And the Great Beyond is when someone finally dies, the soul finally goes to the Great Beyond, which is like they say the Great Beyond. Okay, I'll try to keep the movie as spoiler free as possible because I do not want to ruin your expectations. The target audience for this movie is supposed to be for kids, but while watching the movie, I did feel that this can be even be watched by mature adults because the movie talks about life in general and, of course, about existentialism, and hard for little kids to actually understand the topic of existentialism. So, yeah, it gets pretty hardcore from there. The movie also talks about passion and obsession, and it draws a fine line between loving your passion and how being too engrossed in your own mundane activities could lead to obsession, and you'll be turning into a lost soul. As already stated, Joe Gardner is a down and out musician who's looking for his one big break. And in doing so, he treats every aspect of life as a chore. And his love for jazz, piano, it in turn mutes him from the rest of the world. It's only through the help of 22 when he starts enjoying, well, the little things.
Enjoy the little things.
22 is a soul who has been in the great before for years and years and is unable to find a purpose or spark that can finally let her enter Earth. 22 does not want to go Earth as it detests life, although it has never really lived it. When, alert, 22 finally enters Gardner's body via shenanigans, she finally understands what it's like to be a human by enjoying the little things. Through the interactions, we see their flawed characters learn more about themselves, and we see each of them attain their character arc, which I did feel at times didn't do really much justice to the overall story. But it was beautiful to see Joe rescue 22 and Joe accompanying 22 for her final journey to Earth, or when Joe contemplates on what he's missing out on life, or the time he plays a beautiful piano piece based on his time with 22. The movie does try to reach the emotional impact of, let's say, Up, but I feel that it kind of falters and falls short. Before watching the movie, I did not really watch the trailer. In fact, I knew about this movie thanks to year-end reviews, and this was on the top of my bucket list. And I finally did watch this movie, and I was expecting like a follow your dreams kind of movie done Pixar style, but I never ever expected it to be about someone's midlife crisis and a character going through the pangs of existentialism And this is a movie which can be watched by mature adults as well, and I feel that they'll be able to relate it better because, let's be very honest, we have all gone through the phase where we have contemplated about what are we doing in life, what is our purpose, and what is our goal, and then again we get back to our jobs. So yes, for kids, I think they might just watch it because it's an animated flick, but for adults, yeah, you guys need to watch this movie, and I'm pretty sure it's gonna hit you in different places. When Gardner finally plays the most important gig of his life, he feels dejected because he felt that playing this gig would finally, he'll attain not nirvana per se, but he'll finally be at peace. It'll finally be his moment, but at the end of the day, it's just another gig. And to this, his idol Dorothea Williams gives the best response.
I heard this story about a fish. He swims up to this older fish and says, "I'm trying to find this thing they call the ocean." "The ocean?" says the older fish. "That's what you're in right now." "This?" says the young fish. "This is water. What I want is the ocean." See you tomorrow.
The setting for this movie is visually brilliant as it finally encapsulates the New York jazz scene, and I wish it was more about that, and I wish we could see more of Joe Gardner's life. But hey, I didn't mind this entire thing of him finally looking for his body and both of them having a, they end up in each other's body. That was a great thing. I really loved it. In fact, I never had any complaints regarding any Pixar movie, just that I wanted a bit of that, but fine, I was happy with this too. The movie does follow the same trajectory as Inside Out, which was an poignant and emotionally heavy movie. Although Soul does not really tug your heartstrings just like Inside Out, but it does a decent job at fulfilling that role. Initially, I found it to be rather strange or very weird that how every soul's personality is predetermined before they are sent to Earth, and there's not much choice on, say, free will or choosing one's own personality. I did find this aspect to be debatable as it brings out the nature versus nurture debate. I did read theories on innate personality traits and how one's socio-cultural environment does play a role in shaping one's personality. This was clearly seen when Joe entered 22 meet Des, that is Joe's barber. And I can also say this, that these guys have really done research on the subject matter, and I actually had to go back and read some my old psychology notes. And yes, there are innate personality traits which always existed. They also, I think there's always a mixture of what you do in a social cultural environment plus innate personality traits, which finally mixes up and gives you your own defined personality. There are comparisons which are being drawn with Pete Docter's latest offering. This movie is great so far. I mean, you can watch this movie and we should not really compare it much to the previous Pixar movies. I mean, my personal favorite Pixar movie has to be Incredibles, and this one is a little different from the rest of the pack. It's something like Inside Out, like I've mentioned several times. So it's not really as hard hitting as Inside Out, but it's a good movie. It's a decent movie. It's on Disney Plus Hotstar. You can watch it. And also, if you're really looking for a hard edge, punch in your face kind of series which talks about existentialism, you can always watch BoJack Horseman. Alright guys, that's it for today. If you do like what we are doing, do subscribe and hit us a like. This is Ren signing off.